bought some Takis for my class with my own money. I brought it to class and I only have 4 bags left. Your son admitted to stealing. He was very
Tuvo 4. Su niño admitió que se había robado esto. Yo voy a enviar una carta y usted va a tener que regresarla. Cuando mi esposa terminó de hablar, la maestra le mandó un texto, decía, mi niño mandó un texto, el texto decía, mi mamá, mi maestra mi maestra va a hablar acerca de que yo me robé taquis, pero yo no me robé taquis. Y encuentro información acerca de lo que pasó. La conversación fue la siguiente. Los padres le dijeron a los niños, ¿qué pasó? El niño dijo, yo no entiendo, estoy confundido. La niña, la maestra me llamó y me dijo, ya sé lo que tú y tus amigos han estado haciendo en la clase. Y el niño dijo, ¿qué? Y la maestra dijo, tú me has estado robando los taquis. Y entonces yo le dije, no te he robado taquis. Hace 2 semanas yo agarré unos sneakers porque pensé que estaba bien agarrarlos. Y usted nos dijo hace unas semanas que podíamos agarrar unos si nos portábamos bien. La maestra dijo que me iba a llamar, mi esposa habló con mi hijo, me dijo que había estado recibiendo taquis de uno de sus amigos, quien se los estaba dando de la casa. Su amigo también fue acusado de robar. Mi niño me dijo, oh, esta es una larga. Mi niño me dijo que él y su amigo estaban muy confundidos y tenían miedo. Yo estoy muy molesto y no puedo creer que un adulto puede reaccionar de esta forma y acusar a los niños sin pruebas. La maestra está más preocupada acerca del dinero que gastó en vez de las acciones de los niños. Yo podía hablar con el director y resolver el asunto. Después de ser confrontado por el personal y decirme que el director estaba ocupado, yo dije que era un asunto de importancia y que solamente le iba a tomar nada más unos minutos, solamente para que no me hicieran no me pusieran atención. Me dijo la directora que fue algo que se podía resolver muy fácilmente y ahora tiene que estar hostigado por su maestro. Mi esposa no escuchó nada de parte de la directora hasta que le envió un correo electrónico el 19 de octubre. Luego me dijo que había hablado con su hijo acerca de esta situación. Dijo que nuestro niño era muy maduro y que dijo que se sentía seguro cuando estaba con sus amigos, pero no con la maestra. Nos dijo que cuando la maestra necesita hablar con él, no debería de apuntar antes de tener comprobantes y que debería de haber hecho las cosas de forma diferente. La directora estuvo de acuerdo y dijo que iba a hablar con todos los maestros acerca de cómo hablar con los estudiantes. Aprecio que haya hablado con mi niño, pero hubiera apreciado si la maestra se disculpara con mi niño por acusarlo de robar taquis. Yo sé que a mi niño le ayudaría esto a verlo como un caso cerrado. El día 15 de octubre, mi niño y su amigo fue hostigado por su maestra, quien les gritó enojada y dijo, de niños, ¿a dónde van? Y ellos dijo que los dos van a ir, dijeron que sí. Dijeron que al momento no eran responsabilidad de esa maestra, estaban en otra clase al momento. Estoy pidiendo que este hostigamiento termine inmediatamente y estoy pidiendo que se encarguen de esto para que este tipo de comportamiento pare, para que esto no le ocurra a otros estudiantes. Como una madre preocupada, estoy pidiendo que ustedes cuiden de nuestros niños. Su prioridad debe de ser nuestros niños. Espero una respuesta ya sea por correo o por teléfono. Gracias. Mi nombre es Israel Villa, padre de un niño de 6º año en Howard Mays Middle School. Acabamos de mudarnos a Hollister de Salinas y acaba de empezar después de estar siendo hostigado por toda una semana, se defendió y lo suspendieron y le dijeron que lo iban a recomendar a una escuela. Yo sé que tienen una cero tolerancia, pero esto no es un contrato legal. Ningún niño de 11 años debe de firmar un contrato legal porque no tienen capacidad de firmar o cumplir con un contrato. Como padres, a nosotros se nos debe de pedir firmar el contrato, de que no se les ponga en una situación en las que tengan que defenderse. Han habido varias peleas desde que empezó la escuela. Seguimos en una pandemia y nuestros niños necesitan apoyo. Nosotros nos negamos a permitirle a la escuela o al distrito a que lo envíen a una escuela de continuación. Necesitan planes de comportamiento y apoyos, justicia transformativa y otros programas. Los fondos necesitan ser utilizados para dar estos tipos de apoyos, porque esos contratos no son la solución y para velar por nuestros niños y el futuro. Flores. Superintendente, miembros de la Junta Directiva, el director de Youth Alliance, quiero darle las gracias por todo lo que han hecho, con todo lo que ha estado pasando. Los padres se han puesto en contacto y el plan va a ser puesto para ser aprobado esta tarde y cómo los fondos van a ser utilizados. No obstante, el plan del que se está hablando, no hay un sitio en el papeleo de la Junta Directiva. Yo estaba hablando con los miembros del distrito acerca de estos entrenamientos de justicia restaurativa. Quiero darle las gracias al personal del distrito Rancho Santana y Calaveras por estos programas de justicia restaurativa. Y esto resalta la colaboración para que estos equipos tengan los apoyos que necesitan. Han hecho muy buen trabajo y estamos queriendo seguir trabajando con HSP para poder seguir desarrollando planes de seguridad. Estos son muy importantes conjunto con LULAC para tener ciertas alternativas para que estén basadas en las relaciones. Las alianzas de los padres y de los jóvenes les dan este apoyo a este buen trabajo con el distrito de Hollister. Y me parece que tenemos un par más. Queridos miembros de la Junta Directiva, tengo en San Rancho Musto, en esa escuela tengo un niño. Está entrando una llamada. Les digo que se esperen. Lo contesto. Gracias. Soy padre de un niño en Rancho San Augusto, México. Yo también fui invitado como miembro de uno de los comités para trabajar en los sistemas que se están utilizando para los estudiantes que han estado involucrados con el sistema de justicia y cómo se puede utilizar ciertas conexiones entre los estudiantes y el personal, lo cual puede parar la disciplina de expulsión. Quiero darle las gracias a la Oficina de Educación por invitarme a estas series y gracias por la participación administrativa. Soy bendecido que Rancho San Augusto nos ha dado esta oportunidad para aprender de cómo utilizar formas restaurativas en vez de usar acciones de castigo. Le he presentado a varios padres esta opción. El propósito era informarle a los padres de la investigación de estas prácticas. Los padres compartieron cómo era el distrito antes y más importante de cómo la junta directiva ha cambiado la forma en que nosotros disciplinamos a los niños. Ahorita estamos haciendo historia. Muchas gracias por su tiempo. Y luego, si puede leer esto. ¿Aló?
Hello?
¿Aló?
Okay, let me put you on,
Déjeme ponerla en altavoz.
can you hear me?
¿Sí me puede escuchar? Sí.
Put the microphone right here.
Déjeme poner el micrófono acá.
Yes.
¿Me
thank you.
pueden
Go ahead.
escuchar? Sí, muchas gracias, prosiga. Bien, mi nombre es Celeste y tengo 2 niños de edad escolar y quiero darle las gracias a todos ustedes por, quisiera llamar acerca de algunas preocupaciones. Yo sé que ustedes llevan máscaras en el video en octubre 14. Hablé con el superintendente Elisa Sánchez para ver si pudiera regresar mi llamada y me regresó inmediatamente y ella lo hace muy bien hablar con los padres. Cuando lo hizo noté que habían otros 2 miembros en nuestro distrito que empleados que no se ponen la máscara en la sala y no estaban distanciándose a 3 metros. Yo sé que ustedes han sido vacunados. Yo sé que está bien estar en una sala. Ustedes ya lo han demostrado sin máscara y mostrar ciertas expresiones sin máscara en YouTube. Ustedes se la pueden poner si gustan, pero yo he visto que no se han puesto la máscara y detrás puedo ver lo que está pasando. También puedo ver los videos y nuestros niños pueden verlo también. Durante cuando mi niña estaba en la escuela, ella no tenía que ponerse una. Cuando ella trajo una excepción de su doctor y regresó a la escuela, un maestro sustituto quería mantener la 6 pies alejada de los estudiantes. Esto es algo que me preocupó a mí porque cuando les dan esas exenciones, los hacen exentos tanto de la vacuna, por religión o lo que sea, nuestros niños van a estar segregados. Yo sé que eventualmente lo van a estar por el FDA. Puedo ver que lo van a aprobar y nosotros vamos a estar aquí como padres, pero si lo hacen en cuanto a la exención, pues sí, los maestros van a segregar a los estudiantes. Tal vez si pudieran contestarme esto, porque esto es algo que nos preocupa porque esto muestra que los niños tienen miedo ahora y los maestros tienen miedo, pero quería segregar a mi niña y la maestra quería segregarla por no traer la máscara. Entonces me parece que es todo por ahorita. Espero que consideren nuestra carta y yo sé que ustedes hacen las cosas muy bien y nosotros tenemos a nuestra abogada Tracy Henderson. Me parece que es todo. Cuídense mucho y pasen muy buena noche. Quisimos hablar con ustedes un día a la vez y yo no estoy tratando de faltar el respeto de ninguna forma. Yo espero que ustedes puedan entender que nosotros necesitamos estar involucrados y también necesitan entendernos. Nos vamos a asegurar de que esta dirección que nos puedan representar mejor. Cuídense mucho. Pasen muy buena noche. ¿Hay otro comentario público? Aló, mi nombre es Sara Mendoza. Yo quería también pedir que si ese plan va a ser público, va a estar en el sitio, si es posible, que usted lo pudiera compartir conmigo. Me parece que es importante que las escuelas tengan lo que necesitan para ser sanitarias. El entrenamiento es importante para los maestros. El COVID ha afectado a muchas personas mentalmente. Todos conocemos a alguien que ha muerto y nos da miedo. Los niños necesitan estar listos para lidiar con esto. Yo me preocupo de que los niños vayan a necesitar la escuela de verano. No podemos pasarlos al siguiente grado si no están listos. Yo no sé acerca de eso, pero sí puedo ver cómo los puede ayudar de muchas formas. Me parece que hay una más. No, ya no. Me parece que es todo. Muchas gracias. Y gracias al público por compartir, por expresarse. Apreciamos eso. Ahora estamos listos para ir con 11A, el programa de verano para los migrantes. Soy Patricia Martínez y buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, soy Patricia Martínez y yo soy coordinadora del programa migrante para el distrito de Hollister. Gracias por invitarme a la junta directiva y junta directiva y comisarios. El día de hoy voy a compartir mi informe de los migrantes. Como ustedes saben, nosotros estamos en el Departamento de Educación con sus metas y en ese departamento se trata de graduar a los estudiantes con un diploma o un GED que los prepara para ciudadanía responsable. Y todo lo que hacemos tiene que ver con esto. Primeramente, quisiera darle gracias al programa, a nuestro personal, al secretario, los miembros de la comunidad, el reclutador y, más importante, a los maestros. Tenemos 23 maestros durante el verano. Y quisiera darle las gracias por servir a nuestros estudiantes. La siguiente diapositiva. Les voy a presentar a ustedes el programa basado en las edades que se enfoca en el bienestar y también en lo académico. Tuvimos 337 estudiantes que participaron y tuvimos 23 maestros. Tuvimos el programa de 10 días. Luego dimos un programa de 10 días llamado Legacy Go. Y entonces son lecciones para vivir de forma saludable. 2 horas con el maestro de lecciones dirigidas y 2 horas de trabajo independiente. También tuvimos ciertas presentaciones de NAMI para los estudiantes de la escuela media. Nuestra evaluación fue académica. Iba el CEDE, iba a hacer un programa piloto. Entonces los estudiantes tuvieron que utilizar el lenguaje de la tecnología, los Legos, aparte de vivir de forma saludable. La mayoría de los estudiantes presentaron el discurso académico, así que tenemos videos de los estudiantes antes y después. Y ustedes aquí pueden ver parte de los modelos que los estudiantes crearon, uno que brilla en la oscuridad y otros modelos. Para servir más estudiantes de su escuela de verano regular, lo que hicimos fue ponerlos en los sitios con la región y nosotros colaboramos con ellos para poder proveer un tipo de servicio de salud. Teníamos el reto de estar ahí durante la escuela regular, porque solamente íbamos a estar ahí por 10 días. Así es que teníamos que darle servicios antes de la escuela y en agosto. Y estuvimos trabajando hasta el último día. También le dimos suministros y también mochilas que eran de los servicios estudiantiles. Y teníamos aquí servicios para las familias migrantes también, cajas de máscara. Las maestras nos dieron toallitas antibacteriales y también eh, gel antibacterial para las familias. Mientras los estudiantes esperaron, teníamos tutoría, clases de alfabetización con los niños de San Benito High School, el programa migrante. Los niños estuvieron con su tutor y tenían ciertas marcas de pensamiento porque el niño, pues, el libro está nuevecito y mostrarle cómo tomar apuntes. Algunos, como ustedes lo pueden ver, lo hicieron en español, como ve el estudiante lo está leyendo ahí, está mal. Am, Aquí hay un ejemplo de las marcas desde prekinder hasta la escuela secundaria. También se les dieron libros nuevos y ellos se los pudieron llevar. En cuanto a servicios para los niños del prekinder, cubrimos vacunación, hábitos de salud, ponerse la máscara y también nos aseguramos de hablar acerca de la salud dental, ya es que tenemos más niños con problemas dentales que otros programas, así que siempre tratamos de incluir eso cuando podemos. También tuvimos al doctor Banks. Bueno, gracias por estar presente en algunos de estos talleres. 16 familias participaron recientemente. Tuvimos un informe de FTD de nuestro personal. De hecho, nosotros pudimos sobrepasar el estándar estatal en cuanto a los servicios que se le dan a nuestros estudiantes. Aquí están unas fotos de estos talleres de salud. Tenemos el maestro que sacó a los niños, hizo una actividad de lavarse las manos con ellos, la parte importante de ponerse la vacuna. Y los niños pudieron participar en lavarse las manos como parte de este taller. Y a favor de nuestro personal, queremos dar las gracias por su apoyo. Y esto es algo que dijo César Chávez, la salud no se mide con dinero, el estatus o el poder, se mide dejando un legado para las personas que queremos e inspiramos. Y nosotros durante el verano lo hacemos todo eso para los niños. Gracias. Gracias. ¿Hay algo más en lo que ustedes piensan que ustedes pueden mejorar o algo más que ustedes piensan que pudieran haber hecho? Porque parece que lo hicieron muy bien. Sabe que siempre les preguntamos a los miembros del personal y ellos ven y a la gente ir y venir. Tratamos de cooperar y también tratamos de tomar lo que nos dicen los padres, porque los padres llegan ahí cada día y nosotros evaluamos las necesidades del programa. Así es que al seguir adelante fue bien difícil, fue un reto llevarlo a cabo durante el programa de verano regular, pero tuvimos que pensar de una forma creativa y habían otros servicios que los estudiantes y las familias necesitaban en este momento. También estábamos preveyendo una intervención regular. Tuvimos que volver a pensar acerca de qué servicios necesitamos dar, porque es algo único. No podemos hacerlo de una forma igual que antes. Así es que este año sí fue más difícil porque estamos haciendo lecciones en preescolar y estamos contratando consejeros para los niños de séptimo y octavo y talleres para prevención del suicidio. Ya dos talleres se llevaron a cabo y de ahí salieron recomendaciones, personas que ellos conocían. También estamos llevando a cabo una clase de baile y porque eso es algo que le gusta mucho a los migrantes. También pensamos acerca de la educación para los migrantes, que es algo como tiene uno su programa regular y luego programas de intervención que tiene el distrito y nosotros somos la cereza que está encima y nosotros pues estamos tratando de cubrir cualquier cosa que no se haya cubierto en las escuelas. Bueno, con eso vamos a cerrar. Empezando el año escolar, ¿tienen algo para esto? Hay muchas cosas que están disponibles para recogerlos y vino conmigo y ella, yo respondí a lo que está pasando en Hollister y que las personas regalan ropa y tenemos algunos estudiantes que les han pedido a los miembros del personal y a los empleados, empieza con una familia al mes que les damos más alimentos o algunas otras cosas. Así es que sí hacemos, tenemos espacio para hacer una recolección y las personas están exigiendo más. Estamos en el campus porque de repente nosotros estábamos quitando servicios y la misma familia necesitaban ropa porque no habían estado viniendo a la escuela. Y luego con la vivienda, hay muchas personas que han perdido sus trabajos y cosas así como toallas y camas y cosas así, tienen ese tipo de cosas. Pienso que lo que estoy preguntando es si nosotros deberíamos de estar haciendo como una lista de las necesidades de nuestros niños y luego buscar un lugar central donde los padres que pueden proveer y que tenga que ver con el tamaño de la ropa y cosas como sábanas y toallas que las familias necesitan porque sí, han pasado, eso sería muy buena idea, como ustedes saben, en nuestras reuniones hacemos ese tipo de manejo de casos. Ellos lo que están haciendo es tratando de encontrar colchones, cobijas, sábanas, escritorios. Esa sería muy buena idea, tener como un closet de ropa donada para que podamos ir ahí y poder encontrar un cierto lugar donde se puedan guardar. Tal vez pudieran hacer una sociedad con, porque me parece que tal vez tendrían ellos algunas cosas. Sí, yo sé que la secundaria va a tratar de hacer algo también, no con el condado. La secundaria en sí está haciendo tiene su propia ropa y la ropa es muy seleccionada. Son cosas que son más nuevas y hay una variación en el distrito para que los niños puedan ir durante diferentes horas y tener acceso a eso. Pero era algo que habíamos hablado de eso hace muchos años y finalmente, pues con todo esto del Home Center ya se pudo hacer. Es algo maravilloso. Y luego ahora agregaron el servicio para poder lavar la ropa y nuestros estudiantes están ayudando con esto y ellos lo hacen muy bien. Así es que hay estudiantes que necesitan que se les lave su ropa de por su situación. Ellos lo que hacen, la dejan y la recogen al día siguiente. Es algo, un servicio maravilloso que los estudiantes ayudan a los estudiantes. Y para mí eso es, wow, es lo que queremos. Queremos ayudar a nuestros niños a que hagan eso, que ayuden. Sí, porque sí, ya son lo suficientemente grandes para hacer esto. Sí, lo que yo estaba pensando. Todavía los padres no pueden entrar al campus, pero esta es una población específica, pero se les puede asignar un lugar y darles acceso. Tenemos aquí un cuarto con muchas cosas porque recibía muchas donaciones y ropa y de todo, pero en realidad yo pudiera darme de voluntaria si es que surge algo. Sí, hay varios lugares, el lugar está muy pequeño. También quiero darle las gracias a la tienda y también a los trabajadores del campo y gracias a todos. Ajá. Sí, eso sería muy bueno. Sí, así que bien hecho. Gracias. Muchas gracias. Muy bien. Entonces, 11B, en cuanto a colectar los fondos para los desarrolladores. Buenas tardes, miembros de la Junta Directiva, Superintendente. Quisiera darle las gracias por la oportunidad de hacer un informe acerca de la actividad y poder hacer cualquier pregunta que tengan. Como saben, ahora el Código Gubernamental de California permite que ahora el distrito cobre ciertos fondos y es para poder hacer ciertos cambios a los edificios dentro de los límites de nuestro distrito. Y esto es para los gastos de poder acomodar más estudiantes dentro de nuestro distrito, como resultado del desarrollo de estas cosas y solamente se puede utilizar para expandir estas planteles y hemos sido muy afortunados que en los últimos 2 años somos un condado donde ha habido mucho desarrollo y muchos distritos del estado han perdido fondos, pero para el año fiscal 2021 $4.7 por 66 centavos por comercial. por cada pie comercial. No vemos mucho de lo comercial, pero sí hay algunos nuevos edificios en ciertos lugares que están surgiendo cerca de cada año. Se lleva a cabo un estudio para justificar estos fondos para ver si podemos cobrar estos o no. Si el estudio muestra que eh, la cantidad de estudiantes que tendremos será mayor a la capacidad que tenemos, entonces podemos cobrar esos fondos, teniendo la aprobación de la junta directiva. Y ahorita estamos alistándonos para llevar a cabo este estudio nuevamente acerca de la asistencia. Por lo regular en abril o mayo es cuando estamos listos para saber cuáles son los resultados y poder saber si vamos a poder cobrar esto. Vamos a saber eso empezando en ese entonces. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta? Entonces veo yo aquí que tenemos 2021, 2022, 131,000 en cuanto a gastos de estas cuotas en 2021 solamente, bueno, tienen 351. Correcto. Lo que queremos informar es que son 5 años y lo que había hecho yo es que lo que estamos viendo hasta septiembre, solamente para este año. A este punto, solamente estamos viendo esa cantidad que vamos a recibir en los cuartos del año que quedan, de lo que ya hemos recibido. Sabe que la cantidad baja, julio 29, entonces los 5 millones que recibimos el año pasado está basado en eso. Bien, entonces, el Estado tiene en efecto, está mostrando que la asistencia ha subido o está mostrando que nuestra asistencia ha bajado. Para 2021, 22, no, todavía no se ha recibido, pero en este periodo no va a ocurrir hasta diciembre. Entonces, ya veo a este punto, no hemos cubierto nada todavía. Hemos acumulado los datos y eso va a ser informado a finales de enero. Y ahorita el Estado todavía está basándose en 2021. Si ustedes recordarán que debido a COVID estamos todavía buscando, o sea, estamos buscando en 19, 20, debido a que nuestra asistencia ha subido, no sé, 88, pero sí ha subido. La semana pasada fueron 5,719, lo cual es, sí, es algo que queremos ver estos números del ADA porque no se ha llevado a cabo para el 2021. Entonces es algo que queremos recibir. Si desde el ADA nos pueden dar este aumento, así es que ADA es la que utilizamos para los fondos generales. Pero estas cuotas para el desarrollo se basa en la capacidad que tenemos en el aula. Así es que lo que tenemos está basado en cuántos estudiantes están en asistencia, no en este año, cuando se lleve a cabo el estudio para este año, entonces podremos compartirlo con ustedes. No solamente de la inscripción, sino que de cuál es la asistencia en las escuelas, en el aula. Entonces, con ese spreadsheet sería posible agregar lo que el porcentaje o de cuáles fondos estamos cobrando cada año para cada categoría y en qué se basa el ADA para poder tener algo, para poder ver las cantidades, porque yo veo la cantidad, pero no veo de dónde proviene. No sé por qué esa cantidad se escogió. Nuevamente, ADA no tiene nada que ver con nosotros podemos cobrar para estas cuotas de desarrollo. Pero quiero saber en qué se está basando, en qué se está basando para saber cuánto cobrar. La otra cosa que quería resaltar en cuanto a esto es que, digamos, hubo un gran gasto en el 2017-2018, ahí fue cuando compramos la tierra de Rancho Santana, y en 2019-2020 cambiamos el enfoque porque esto sería para la oficina del distrito. Ellos son quienes reciben las cuotas y ellos estaban, mucho del tiempo del director estaba en la construcción de esta nueva escuela. Entonces, lo tenemos acá. ¿Cuándo fue que nosotros, en el 2017, fue que empezamos? La oficina del condado, la oficina de educación del condado era la que le recaudaba, pero nosotros decidimos empezar a recaudarlo nosotros mismos, así que nuestro personal está encargado de esto. Así es que quiere decir que el condado no lo estaba haciendo correctamente. Y la otra cosa es de que en el 2021 también era para completar la escuela Rancho Santana, pero sí se pasó ahora el bono de MSD. Por esa razón ustedes lo ven en 2021. Y mientras continuamos recibiendo el último 2022, son las últimas piezas para la escuela Rancho Santana y estaremos utilizando de esos fondos. Así es que me lo dieron a mí en cuanto a que estamos recibiendo esto. Y entonces esto por menos de 6 millones. Pues nuevamente todavía tenemos algunas cosas en las escuelas y parece que la única otra cosa, disculpe que decidimos regresar, otra cosa que quería decir en cuanto al manejo de proyectos, las otras cuotas que se cobran, las otras cuotas que se cobran. En cuanto al proyecto, son los que tenemos, las solicitudes en la oficina de construcción de la escuela. Existe otra parte del manejo del proyecto. En el formato, todo se tiene que hacer en el formato que el Estado les quiere y tenemos que hacer eso una prioridad. Pero no tenemos ningún otro punto de relación. Sí, estamos utilizando Bolis para lo cual, bueno, sí hay un contrato pequeño que ya tenía que terminar porque habían algunas cosas que todavía antes de abrir Rancho Santana habían unos proyectos que estábamos terminando y todavía hay un poco de trabajo final que ella va a hacer y luego entonces vamos a tener al comité que se encarga de los bonos. Una vez entonces eso es entonces y me parece que ellos van a poder darnos el informe para traérselos aquí a la Junta Directiva. Y de acuerdo al último estudio demográfico, la demográfica ha habido en 2048 va a haber un aumento y porque vamos a tener un aumento para entonces y utilizando esas cuotas de desarrollo vamos a poder entonces acomodar a esos estudiantes. HST pasó para mejorar las escuelas en Santana Ranch. Nuestro M fueron 28 millones, eso pasó en 2014. Esos fondos se utilizaron para modernizar y expandir diferentes planteles en el distrito. Todavía tenemos ciertos fondos de Measure M, como $3 millones. Y esto es para terminar la escuela Rancho Santana. Y tenemos aquí que estamos trabajando en ese plan máster para esa escuela para poder expandir ese plantel. Tenemos algunos de Measure B. Sí, por esas razones que tenemos las cuotas de desarrollo. Hay ciertas cosas que las cuotas de desarrollo no pueden pagar. Así es que hubieron ciertos gastos que el año pasado. Y entonces Rancho Santana pues va a tener, tiene que salir de ahí, claro. Nadie o sea, porque pues han habido muchas demoras y gastos, pero se tiene que terminar. Ujú. ¿Alguna pregunta? No tengo ninguna, excepto decir muchas gracias por todo lo que ha estado haciendo, el trabajo adicional que ha estado haciendo, porque todos los de la Junta Directiva lo sabemos y queremos decir gracias, gracias. Bien. Ahora llegamos a los asuntos que necesitan consentimiento. Es el 12 de la A a la K. Yo presenté una moción de que entonces los asuntos 12A, 12K. Un segundo. Una plática. ¿Todos a favor? De 12A a 12K. 5 a 0. Vamos a la 13A.
My binder. Hey, sorry. This discussion and approval. I haven't got there yet. Too fast. Well, you woke me up there.
No me despertaste.
Okay.
Bien.
This is on the Dan limit. And are you doing it or Lisa? I can speak to it and Lisa can help.
¿Puedo hablar de ello y alguien lo puede secundar?
Okay.
Bien.
Yeah. So this is also a resolution. Discussion and
Esto también está para una resolución y la aprobación esta semana. Carla y yo hemos sido asignadas. Entonces, el límite es uno de esos que son muy confusos. Entonces, se le puede contestar algo del estado del 78-79. Y básicamente, entre los fondos que recibimos y la ayuda del Estado, hubo un límite de apropiación para asegurarse que los condados y los gobiernos locales no estaban gastando todo el dinero de impuestos que quedaban en el distrito, porque de lo contrario, si se hiciera así, un cálculo en esto primero, la cantidad que se tiene aquí, donde muestra, si ve la sección C, ahí es donde ve todos los detalles y esta información esta es toda la ayuda que se ha recibido y en la siguiente página es la ayuda estatal. Porque ustedes recordarán que de los actuales que tenemos que recibir la calculadora, lo que vienen siendo los impuestos de la propiedad. Entonces, este límite básicamente quiere asegurarse de que usted no está teniendo acceso a ciertos fondos y no utilizándolos. Y todos los cálculos en cuanto a los impuestos y los intereses tienen un límite de aportación de 25 millones o 25, 80 y de la fórmula número 1 de los gastos. En el gasto restringido, el lado restringido en cuanto a gastar 38 millones 368. Esto es solamente en la sección A, y ahí tenemos el cálculo y la junta directiva tiene conocimiento de que no estamos diciendo que nuestra ayuda del Estado, todo lo que estamos recibiendo de los impuestos. En la resolución que ustedes ya han visto, necesita ser aprobada. estamos dentro de ese límite.
Okay.
Muy
Any
bien.
discussion?
Entonces, ¿alguien lo quiere platicar?
I need a motion
Bueno,
for
entonces necesitamos una moción para la
resolution
resolución 221
2021/22,
22.
adopting the GAM limit.
Estamos adoptando este límite de ganancia. Vamos a firmarlo, así que, ah, así que, me estén secundado. ¿Alguien más quiere platicar algo más de ello? Bueno, ya todos a favor, digan aye. Entonces, es todo. Muy bien. Entonces, acabamos de pasar la resolución para adoptar el límite. Entonces, vamos a 13B. La discusión, plática y aprobación del plan. Buenas tardes, Junta Directiva, ESSER, Expenditure Plan, miembros de la comunidad. El ESSER, el plan ESSER 3 es un plan que cubre LCAP y cubre oportunidades adicionales. Son fondos para ello y es un plan que va a ser para este año escolar 22, 23 y 23, 24. El plan en sí refleja información que proviene de las personas interesadas y que cubre el plan LCAT y LEO. Y el plan no tiene nada nuevo en él, nada diferente que no esté presente ya o que va a ser una expansión de impact de las oportunidades adicionales de aprendizaje y esos fondos. Y la razón de esto es que estos también cubren las necesidades de los aprendices del inglés, estudiantes que están en este programa y que tienen necesidades socioeconómicas, estudiantes que necesitan apoyos en cuanto al bienestar socioemocional, estudiantes que necesitan más atención o más servicios para mitigar los bloqueos de aprendizaje y cerrar la distancia por estar fuera de la clase por tanto tiempo. La porción narrativa refleja información que también está en el LCAP y en el plan LL. No hay nada nuevo ahí. Los fondos, la cantidad total para este 3 es de 6.249.000 con 53 centavos que el distrito, $54, perdón, proyectado para recibir. No hemos recibido todavía esta cantidad. Va a ser recibido en plazos. Esto es algo clave. La razón por la cual estamos designando ciertos fondos para la prevención del COVID y para PPE, para el personal y para más horas, es porque eso es una de las cosas importantes para nuestro distrito, es mantener el campus abierto y seguro y ayudar que nuestros estudiantes estén en un entorno desinfectado cada día, y quiere decir que tenemos que pagar los materiales que necesitamos. También incluye el personal, el tiempo para ver cuáles son algo bien necesario de cuando hay un contagio de COVID, quiénes son los contagiados, para ahí poder llevar a cabo pruebas, para ver quiénes se vieron expuestos, notificaciones, todas estas cosas que nosotros como distrito tenemos que llevar a cabo que no teníamos que hacer antes. Estos fondos nos van a ayudar para esos requisitos y para las pruebas. Se está refiriendo, sí, gracias por la clarificación. Es para hacerles pruebas al personal. Ahorita, bajo las guías de California, los empleados de una escuela, de un sistema de educación pública, tienen que tener la vacuna o tienen que tener un examen negativo. Debido a que nosotros tenemos que contratar a una LDN para llevar a cabo esas pruebas. aparte de las enfermeras provinciales que tenemos. Así es que esa es una parte grande. Otra, aparte de esto, aparte de tener un entorno desinfectado y todas las guías que se exige que mantengamos, también estamos viendo que los sustitutos que tenemos están muy reducidos, porque este año no solamente son vacaciones, el tiempo regular, cosas que a los empleados tienen derecho a ello, pero hay maestros que tienen que salir de la clase cuando se ven expuestos, y estos fondos nos ayudan a pagar esto que es adicional de tener que pagar un sustituto para tener un entorno constante en cuanto a la educación. Y la porción más grande de esto es viendo qué es lo que vamos a hacer en cuanto a la parte de instrucción, dónde están las áreas de necesidad, los fondos de LCAP para el programa S3 va a ayudarnos a, en cuanto a quitar los fondos de los fondos generales para que nosotros podamos tener una escuela de verano robusta. El plan S3 también nos ayuda a asegurarnos que los estudiantes tengan acceso a programas después de la escuela o antes de la escuela. Esto no va a cubrir todos los gastos, pero nos va a ayudar a empezar y también nos va a ayudar a mitigar la pérdida de aprendizaje y poder encargarnos de las necesidades de los estudiantes. Nosotros vamos a tener que pagar las cantidades o hay cierto margen dentro de esto porque estoy viendo el equipo socioemocional y dice 171,000 y yo pienso que nosotros estamos todos de acuerdo que en este momento de este año no va a ser suficiente. Ese es un punto excelente. Gracias por hacerlo surgir. Lo que viene siendo esto es que ya hay más de 1,000,000 en LCAP que se encarga del equipo socioemocional. Esto va a ayudar con los fondos de cualquier horas adicionales en los que reciban entrenamiento, cualquier cosa adicional. Es una parte pequeña que estamos dando en cuanto a los socioemocional, que es muy importante, y vamos a tener la oportunidad de estar con nuestro cuando estamos en esto para alcanzar las metas de LCAP y para las metas de ENCORE. Entonces siempre podemos tener esa explicación en cuanto a tal vez necesitamos hacer que la cantidad sea mayor. Y esto se puede mover, le podemos explicar. La parte es de que 20% mínimo tiene que ser utilizado para propósitos de instrucción y no debemos sobrepasar estos 6 millones. ¿Quiénes son quienes se encargan de esto? El equipo vienen a la junta directiva para recibir la aprobación porque nosotros sabemos, por ejemplo, que necesitamos más dinero y que para hacer así. Entonces, ¿cómo lo harían? Podemos platicarlo, la junta directiva me puede decir que se necesita a nivel de gabinete y podemos hacer esos cambios y para pedir aprobación. En este momento no necesita ser reaprobado, simplemente se daría una explicación para monitorearlo, porque esto también necesita monitoreo, porque si hay una meta fija, realmente no nos necesitarían porque ya hay metas y ya existen las metas de LCAP. Entonces, esto es solamente suplementando el dinero que ya, porque es algo que se utilizará este año y el próximo año. Y la comunidad, y qué bueno que lo tenemos para la comunidad porque vemos la necesidad. Sí, se basa en las necesidades. Sí,
sería algo terrible tener que, ustedes tener que acudir a nosotros para cada cosita. Sí, porque tuvimos cierto cambio. Para la escuela de verano, esto va a ayudar a suplementar lo que está en LCAP. Sí, definitivamente tenemos que tener estos grupos y esto va a ayudar a expandirlo a todos, pero está basado en cubrir la necesidad de los estudiantes en la meta 1, sí, de la 12 de LCAP. Sí, porque es más fácil si regresamos y quería hacer una pregunta, ya se mencionó acerca de ese 3, los fondos y el entrenamiento en cuanto a los fondos S3 y entrenamiento específico. Una vez aprobado, entonces pasa lo siguiente en cuanto a la justicia restaurativa. Tenemos socioemocional, el tipo de entrenamiento de LCAP y en S3. Así que está incluido. Y también el bienestar en la escuela del campus, el plantel de la escuela. Y claro, cualquier persona le puede llamar en cualquier momento o puede usted reunirse con ellos, lo que sea. Oh, claro. Si hay alguien de la comunidad que quiere saber más acerca de S3, usted acepta llamadas. La superintendente puede llevar a cabo una junta con él en cuanto a esto. Sí, la pregunta también tenía que ver con si esto va a estar en nuestro sitio. Sí, una vez aprobado, va a ser puesto en el sitio con la información de LCAP. Muy bien. Muy bien. Entonces, lo estoy tratando de encontrar acá. Tenemos una moción. El plan S3. Un segundo. Algo, ¿quieren platicarlo más? Todos a favor digan aye. ¿Alguien se opone? Bien, ahora pasamos a 13C. Y entonces va a hablar acerca de los viajes, excursiones. Buenas Sánchez. Buenas tardes al público y a nuestro gabinete ejecutivo acá. Esta noche vamos a platicar acerca del concepto de las excursiones. Históricamente, como distrito, hemos tomado ciertas excursiones en diferentes grados. Algunos en ciertos días completos, en otros casos han habido ciertas excursiones y viajes en los que han pasado la noche. En este año escolar no hemos llevado a cabo excursiones o viajes debido a la pandemia del COVID-19. Así que esta noche es la oportunidad de que la junta directiva hable acerca de las opciones que existen o cualquier dirección que quisieran darnos en cuanto al asunto de las excursiones y los viajes. Me parece que es apropiado hablar considerando la información pública. Vimos lo que pasó en el distrito con el campo de sexto grado y el COVID y los casos positivos. Así es que, hablando como madre, claro que las excursiones son importantes y tengo un chiquito que tenía el plan es de ir a la escuela de ciencias este verano, pero como junta directiva tenemos que hablar acerca de las precauciones, la realidad de que el COVID sigue estando presente y desafortunadamente sabemos que todos hemos estado orando para que la situación no empeore. No quisiéramos que empeorara, mejor es ser cautelosos. Lo que yo diría, quisiera abogar que lo digamos solamente para este año, esperemos que para el próximo año ya las cosas estén mejores, así no decimos, ya no van a haber viajes ni excursiones en 2 años, porque tenemos que tener en cuenta el clima actual y para mí yo no me siento cómodo que no deberíamos, o sea, decir que ahorita no, pero más adelante sí. ¿Eso es algo en lo que tenemos que tomar una decisión para todo el año o no? ¿O podemos regresar a ello en febrero? La junta directiva puede decidir no tomar acción en cuanto a que puede que quieran tomar otra dirección por un periodo de tiempo y luego no diríamos no excursiones ni viajes ahora. ¿Qué es lo que es oficial ahorita? Ahorita lo que estamos practicando es ningún viaje está ocurriendo ahorita. Si tenemos alguna información de parte de nuestras enfermeras de las escuelas que ellas quisieran compartir con la junta directiva y vemos la meta para nuestro distrito. Obviamente la meta es proveer mejor entorno de aprendizaje para nuestros estudiantes y eso significa mantener a los estudiantes seguros. Normal, nuestro enfoque ahora es como un año de transición y el enfoque es quitar cualquier barrera que pudieran tener los estudiantes para tener acceso. Es otro punto también, ¿cómo vamos a saber si los estudiantes fueron expuestos a un caso positivo? Porque la cantidad de, si no pudiéramos garantizar poder saber cómo ocurrió el contagio y si un estudiante llega a ser positivo después de haber estado en un viaje, toda la clase tendría que estar en una cuarentena mandatoria en casa por 10 días y eso impactaría toda la clase y esto es porque necesitarían tener máscara aún para comer y tomar agua y necesitarían estar a 3 pies aún en el automóvil. Y otro punto de considerar es de que un caso positivo también afecta otras actividades en las que los estudiantes ahora toda la producción se cerró porque había un caso positivo. El equipo.
Last weekend. Yeah. So those are points that our nurses wanted to share with the board tonight as we consider this.
I do like what Kathy's talking about, giving us maybe till the end of this year and then revisiting in January, considering whatever vaccine or not vaccine situations may come, and just being open,
I like the idea of revisiting it. I think January is too soon. I feel more comfortable getting past rainy season, like whatever that is, late April, somewhere around that, which is very close to the end of the school year, I realize. But as long as we're indoor and having to travel in the vehicle to any place we were going, I think it just, plus flu season. Well, it just exacerbates the opportunities for people to get ill.
What notoriously happens at the middle schools is Great America and Santa Cruz Boardwalk.
But that's at the end of the school year.
Yes,
That's
and So this is a big deal. They take buses, so we don't have the 3-foot thing. And it is at the end of the year, and if the kids get sick, then there's no promotion ceremony.
Right.
So then they couldn't. So that's a big, because we do that.
Unless you planned it in May.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
In advance, in case of.
Well,
could.
so that,
I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't. move out.
that's true. If there's a time when they open, you know, we have to wait for them to open.
Yeah, but I think in May, by then the weather's pretty.
They usually open
Yeah, but-
Memorial Day.
Yeah. Well, I think
That's the end of it.
we're ending school on the 7th, December. Yeah,
But it could be an alternative, right? Like if I like that we're trying to weigh.
well, we have to
safety
give the schools enough time
Right.
for them to know so that they can plan.
But see, like Erica was, they're focusing, so our nurses incorporating our safety goals. And they like that concept very much so. Because they are our internal experts having to deal day in and day out with our COVID, COVID numbers and what is happening at all sites. They've done, their walkthroughs, they're analyzing, what the winter like is gonna be like when kids are eating indoors and what recommendations they need to bring forward with that. So I think it's smart for us to continue with that vision as far as safety goals and allowing those updates from our nurses to really help guide us as we move forward, whether or not to allow expansion of field trips and when the right time would be for that. I like the
I
ability
do
to be
too,
able
I like that.
to do that when it's natural and safe for all of us,
Like
because
February or March.
I would
somewhere
love
in
to
there.
be back in that normal state of mind, and as soon as they feel we can be there
So can we,
safely. I'm
so
all for it.
we're, so
Oh, I
let me
don't,
make sure I'm hearing
just
this.
checking in again.
I'm making sure I hear this correctly. That we're gonna ask Superintendent Sanchez to discuss with the nurses when they feel it might be right. February, March.
How about we phrase it, let's bring this back for discussion with nurses input. Publicly
Yeah,
revisit so that everyone
Yes.
has the information.
right, February or March, yes.
I would say February, just.
Yeah,
to-
because we can't wait too long. for
Right,
the-
just to prepare, give people time to
And
know.
you're gonna have families, that are going to be visiting other family members during the holidays and
We don't know
traveling.
how
and-
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't
So
know.
we
Yeah.
just, I think
It gives
February
us
is
a
a good
good,
time.
it gives us a good time to kind of have data.
Yeah.
About the flu season, winter, and then be prepared for, and at least we're not saying cancel all field trips for the
No,
year.
right.
We're saying, well, hold on.
No.
Let's see what
Our
happens.
Our kids ride the bus now, they eat outside
Right.
now,
They're together.
they're eating, with other students outside of their classroom setting, so, and they're out on recess, so it's not impossible. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that through their lens, we're moving in the right direction and doing things when they feel it's
Yeah.
the best time.
Sounds good to me.
We'll bring it back in February.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to 13D, which is discussion of AB 361 and executive order N 1521. And again, this is Superintendent Sanchez.
Okay,
Does this go down the
this
road?
goes to us as well.
This goes down the road?
So last board meeting, we
Not
discussed,
yet. I
discussed
need one more.
the new guidance, the new executive order, which falls under AB 361 and executive order N 1521, which states that the governing board of a school district may take action or consideration or discuss in their regularly scheduled public board meeting, the consideration to open the board meeting up to the public or maintain it closed. And it closed in the format of, close to the public, but the public can participate with the public comments that they are able to either call in or submit, via email. This month, seeing that we voted once before to keep it closed, one of the new attachments that we received from our legal counsel is a board resolution. Should the board like to consider the board resolution and pass it for this agenda item, it would allow for the board to maintain it closed for the next month. And if at that time, at that regularly scheduled board meeting, which is kind of a short time from now, I believe like November 16th, we would have to have, discussion again. And so on.
If we did the resolution, we don't have.
No, every month.
No,
still-
you would
still-
have to do it.
still
That's the
Every
requirement.
every month,
But it's nice to have it in this format versus just saying,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
do it close.
Instead of a roll call vote,
Yeah.
this is more formal.
Yeah.
Formalized.
No,
It's just
documented, yeah. In a report.
I wanted to say that I think this is also a place where we should ask the nurses for some help on this as well. And get their input when they think, because it's not just us, we have our cabinet here and,
Well, I guess, so this would be for public.
right,
not
to
for
go
our
back to
students.
when we have,
But I want to take into consideration even the public comments that were stated tonight as well,
yes,
and the fact that the high school is having they're having fully open meetings. They're requiring anyone that does come in to have masks.
Okay.
So if the person refuses to wear a mask, they will be asked to leave.
Do they have them, do they have like everybody come in, or do they have people wait and then one at a time?
No, so basically it's in the library and they do have, seating out, spread, but they can sit wherever they want. And the only requirement that Dr. Tenenbaum is requiring is that they all have masks.
well, I would like our nurses to chime in and see what they have to say.
I would like for our information to be accurate on our
Yeah,
internet. I think,
On our website.
on our website, I think those that want to, I believe, of course, I think we all do believe in freedom of speech and you have the right to public comment, and so whatever we could do to make that accessible to people. So making sure our numbers are correct on the.
And easy to find.
Easy to find, right?
it's really hard to find on our
And
website.
maybe even, I don't know. Because these board meetings are supposed to be open to the public regardless of whether or not they have a child going to one of our schools. And while we can use parent, what is it, the parent portal?
Parent Square.
Parent Square to let those people know, it doesn't help.
The overall community.
Yes, to get that access, so whether we put it out as a statement, like a week, the way you do via email, if we were able to put it out on public forum, like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, with that number as well, that the meeting exists at this time, and to go here, like where I found the info for the link was on hesd.org/board. And then so they could find the link very easily. I think if we could do something like that, it's gonna make it much more, pardon me?
We could, any one of us could.
Yeah, any one of us could, but if it comes from the school, like under a school page or something like that, I just feel like it'll it'll be easier to find, and then when people ask, like they did this time, I don't have to go scrambling, trying to find the info and point it to.
I think right now would be, I think that's a very good suggestion. Right now would be a good time to point out that on our website, second tab over is called board. If you click on that, another menu comes up. In that menu, it says public comment. So if you click on that, it gives you an explanation as to what a public comment is. It allows you to click on the live stream of the video that's happening right now.
Right.
It also tells you that you can, due to the executive orders that are in place, that you can submit a comment via email, and it gives you the email address. It tells you that you can call in during the live meeting, and it gives you the telephone number. And it talks about the YouTube, it talks about participating by email and participating by the telephone. That also is translated into Spanish. If somebody, chooses to click on the site translator right next to that. So there is information. I think we could just do a better job than to disseminate the information.
That's exactly. and
Not
also we-
necessarily, because so mine looks different than yours.
So maybe because
On the
mobile,
cell phone,
okay,
and I actually gave Lisa the information from the website, which was wrong. That's what happened. Because I gave her the number.
No, the number I had originally put out was the number that was on the agenda. And the number on the agenda has an extension like 302, it has a different number, and it says like extension 302 or something like that.
And I went like this, and I'm like,
And that was
always at the top.
extension 305, 630, 6300, extension
See,
305.
it's always at the
Yeah.
top. And I
that's
just
embedded,
screenshotted
so
that.
we can.
We need to
edit
change that to
So that's the
match.
old
Because that's
number.
where I
Right,
usually
yeah.
get it from. I'm like, oh, just call this number.
So, yes.
So that if we
Okay.
change that to match, and then like you said, maybe just write up a blurb, that we can repeat monthly the week before, that just says, points people to that page. Gives them the easy thing, like go to HESD.org or even embed a link.
Or how about
To
on the
the
area
area.
website, can be placed there, so. the
Where?
parent or the parents look at that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people that don't
Not-
have kids in
Right,
school. That
Right, but this is
that
even
would
hard
be
for the,
interested.
but this is even hard for the parent. It's
Oh, yeah.
them Too.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want us to do? Do you want me to have Erica talk to the nurses about this, or do you want to make a decision that we're gonna open it up next meeting? I need some guidance from you guys.
Oh, what were you had mentioned you had numbers, did you get that from the county about COVID cases, or was that district numbers?
No, it was the county, it was 20 yesterday.
20 yesterday.
And 2 new deaths that were vaccinated. So.
Yeah, we're kind of a hot spot right now.
Yeah, but again,
Right.
I want us to not have folks feel like they can't be here.
No,
Well,
okay.
we had 13, Carla read 13 letters, and we had one call in. No one was censured, no one was stopped. We've never done that.
Well, we haven't till, to this point, but that didn't preclude folks from accusing us of not
Right.
having open meetings for the public.
What about a blend of if somebody really wanted to come in person? Like, I'm not comfortable with having the whole room full right now. That sounds like, oh, but what if we had, if you wanted to come in person, you come one at a time, just just the speaker, as soon as you're done. It's just an idea.
I don't mind that.
If not, it's just.
Well, if we
I
have,
actually don't mind that.
If we have a speaker, I would think that maybe we could put an extra window on there on the board, so everyone can see the speaker. Or,
Are you saying the camera?
yeah. No?
Well, I mean, that's a brand new question. Sorry, the split, because I know we tried doing split screen and we were having issues that one board meeting, but so that the community can see who's coming and making the public.
We could do that easy.
Okay,
How are we the only ones doing closed then, besides the high school, or is there the Board of Soups?
I know the city council is open, but they maintain, they have the seating where they only put out so many chairs.
We could do the same here.
And so it's very limited how many seats that,
Again, we could limit, you know,
And
if you
in
wanted
the-
that.
for the county. Because, both the city and the county have, rows, and so they block them off.
Mhm.
And they
So
block
spacing.
so many off so that there's the spaces in between.
So if you wanted some distance. we could
Yeah.
set
Set it up as a checkerboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then just limit if you want 50 or 40 or 30, and it is what it is, for now, you're not wanting a full house. But a public comment speaker allowing, if there's gonna be 30, then we bring them in one at a time.
I think that, what does it say about, public comments? Do we have an overall, limit, like a 30 minutes?
There is on the agenda, there's
Yeah,
always been a set time for
Okay,
public comment, and they're allowed.
3 minutes per, and then. for
And then
total
for the total
of-
of
Yeah, so
20?
far,
We've allowed.
we have not set,
A parameter before.
no, we have not followed, we've had boards that have followed the time limit very carefully. All it does is anger people.
I understand, right? Nobody wants
And,
to.
and so,
We've gone over the time.
yeah,
Well,
but we
yeah.
have gone over the time, which I'd just rather listen to them and listen to what they have to say and,
But if you have 50 people wanting to talk, for 15
Actually-
minutes each, we have.
so far that has not happened.
It doesn't mean it's not gonna happen, because
No.
it's happened. And as board president and as the clerk, again, you wanna be equitable and you have to set a limit, otherwise you cannot conduct school business with,
Well, we had
the rest of the night is still
We-
school business.
we had a board member say, well, you have to listen to this again. And this is when, we weren't on the board. There was a board member who said, do we have to listen to this again? And it just made everybody so angry.
The public.
So, being on the receiving end on the other side many times, I just think if you just let it go, they get it out of their system and it pays off in the long run.
Well, I've been on both sides,
Yeah.
and I get that piece, but then again, I do, I watch the high school, and we've always adhered respectfully to what the conditions are. We go there, we speak our piece, we're given our time, and then, we move on, because I understand it is their meeting in public. I have an opportunity to speak my concerns as any other person coming forward has, and there's no difference or,
Right.
exception to that. And that's what I just want us to always remember, because you're not excluding anyone, but at the same time, you have to remember what the purpose is of these meetings.
Right. Okay, so what are we gonna do, ladies? Are we gonna open it up next meeting? Or what do you wanna do?
I'm just gonna go out and say it, I'm still personally concerned with the community level of, we're at 80 current cases, we seem to hover between 80 and 100 at any given time, and we are going into the holiday season, so I think it's just maybe January, maybe we consider opening once we return from
The holiday.
the holidays. Because we'll be at the end of January, so we'll know community transmission.
And we'll be
From the
revisiting
holidays, right.
this every month.
Every month.
Correct.
So in the on November 16th, when we have the next board meeting, or whenever
Right.
that is, we'll be talking about it again.
Right.
3 weeks away.
Right.
I can consult with the nurses at the board.
I would like that,
Okay.
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 So
Alright,
do you want
so-
us to adopt this tonight for
This
the
will-
next meeting?
This will allow for us to maintain November's meeting closed.
Virtual.
Okay. So I'm asking for a motion for resolution continuing Board of Trustees authority to hold virtual meeting pursuant to AB 361 for the month of November. So moved.
Second.
Okay. Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. 5-0. Go to 13E.
I like these. We need more of these.
Future developers, we need more of these.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Here we
So
go.
This item is discussion and approval of the Hollister School District engaging in discussion and transactions that are necessary for the possible acceptance of a land donation. So tonight's discussion is to consider a property that is next to Margaret Mays Middle School. It's called, we call it the Rosati land. The property will be up for approval. The development will be on October 28th. District administration has worked with legal counsel to receive guidance in the next steps as to what is needed to, if the development is approved on the 28th, how do we go about accepting a possible land donation? So tonight's discussion is to discuss that we are engaging in those conversations and those procedures, and to allow for the district, or to give the district administration permission to continue forward should that land become a gift, a donation to the district, so that we can engage in that process of acquiring it and having it deeded to us. This letter is a letter that the developer is requesting from the district that indicates that the district is in favor and accepts, the fact that this is happening next to the school site, which also is really close to Hollister Dual Language Academy. The property itself would be used to expand the tight parking lot at Margaret Mays, and would be a benefit in the long run to staff trying to park there, to the bus circle, and so on. I believe President Grist and Assistant Superintendent Kip Ward were on a call with the developer, and they may have more information to share. But tonight, we are seeking approval to move forward with the procedures that are necessary to acquire this land, should it be available for us as a gift.
The idea is to, it'll be adjacent to Mays by the G wing and the F wing, and then the field, and then also adjacent to the parking lot at HDLA. So this can be used as drop-off or pickup points. We can get, for HDLA, we can get the drop-off and pickup out of Highway 25. We can stop the cut-through that is going on between LaBeige, going through LaBeige and between Mays and HDLA. They're going to open up Memorial and go straight through to Santa Ana. No, to Santa Ana.
Oh, the Meridian, they weren't planning on bringing.
No,
Meridian
this,
down
we're
to-
talking about Memorial right now, not yet.
Oh,
this is
Memorial,
this one.
this way, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing Memorial. They're gonna put a roundabout in the middle of that cut through between, on Memorial. They're also going to put humps to slow down traffic because they're finding that these cut-throughs are becoming racetracks. They clock speeds of 55 miles plus on Sally and 65 miles plus on Buena Vista.
Santa Ana's the same, if not worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they're going to extend the sidewalk and lighting on Santa Ana to Brigantino, yeah. Did he say that?
More than good.
Yeah,
That's great. There's a lot of kids who walk there and there's no sidewalk.
I know. Am I missing anything?
No, I did want to share with the board that I was able to connect our legal counsel with the developer. The developer wrote an email to our legal counsel, and the response from our legal counsel was that they felt very good about the communication and about the plan for the deeding of the land to the district, and felt confident we can move forward with this letter of support.
Okay.
Just wanted you to be aware of that piece of it.
Yeah,
Okay,
great.
so what are we, on a follow-up with that, what are we obligated then to do and how quickly are we obligated to do it? So not just giving us the land, but are we going to be responsible of paving or what is gonna be on our laps as far as responsibility and money?
Right, so that's the next phase of discussion that our legal counsel will take care of. The counselor that we work with through our law firm, he specializes in this piece. And so this initial communication was just for him to say, I've looked at the plan, I've looked at the land that they're going to deed to us. Now, moving forward, he's going to be working with us, with the developer, to make sure that it's done within timelines, that the questions that you're asking are all laid out.
Well, because for schools, as Aaron knows, DSA and everything else and getting all of that approved by, the state. So there's many more hoops that schools have to jump through than a normal developer for a regular, development. City street. So that's what I want to make sure. If it's on our books and on our bill, that he's then gonna have to go through much more rigorous pieces than they would.
Correct, and they're looking at not even beginning this process for at least a year.
Yeah, but it's gonna take, depending on what we're gonna be responsible for, on Aaron's lap, to have to prepare for that as well, from the state and getting those things approved.
If they were to do it, then we don't.
But again, those are the conversations that need to be had, and Aaron should probably be, moving forward, probably a part of those conversations to really assess what our responsibility would look like and timeline.
When is this going to the planning commission?
28th.
Thursday.
And the letter of support is from us?
Correct.
It's from us. And it's specifically it's number 4, indicates dedication of land. We will definitely work with legal counsel, but it does not look like it's like the developed land in the sense of it's going to include the pavement or the work on it. I think it's just the raw land.
Yeah.
But in number 3, it says, we're pleased to see that include the completion of the sidewalk gaps on Santa Ana Road by building bike lane sidewalks. Isn't that?
What's the city's responsible for? What are we, that's what I just want to know. The land's being donated for the purpose of school usage. I get it, but isn't that still part of city responsibilities of, sidewalks and streets and all of
No,
these
see, that's
things?
county land. Santa Ana is county.
That piece of property
Santa
that's being
Ana.
donated to us is,
No.
what is it, city or county?
It's a mix. I remember because Supervisor
Yeah.
Medina told me that, because I kept talking about that Santa Ana piece. And
Same as
talking to the mayor,
Buena Vista.
he
Same as
said,
Buena Vista.
Santa Ana is county, but Meridian is city, and I don't know Memorial.
On the side of HDLA. it's- It is city for, it is city for a little
A
bit,
piece, correct.
and then it goes county.
Yes,
It's like the high school. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
part of it is HPD and part of
Right.
it is sheriff.
Right.
it's like by the 25 and
Yeah.
then. But can
Again.
we ask these questions
We're going to have
in
to.
the Thursday
Yeah.
meeting? Like, we can ask, or I don't know about conflict of interest, so somebody help.
For what?
If we attend the planning commission meeting,
I mean, it's open to the public.
like, hey, it's the city's responsibility, who's gonna pay the road?
But I think it's important to know.
Yeah, I know that, so I'm just reading over, I think I just want to get more clarity on what this letter is exactly, because it sounds like we as a district are giving this to the City of Hollister Planning Commission regarding the property. And in the first paragraph, it says for the potential expansion of our parking lot. So it's not an obligation to do so. But then when it gets down to the development of this project will include some important and very specific benefits. That's where, are we directing the planning commission that we want to see these things and then it becomes their obligation to help us get there? With these things like the roundabout, because that seems to me like it would be a planning commission, all road.
The roundabout
stuff.
is on Memorial though. We don't have anything to do with that.
No,
Is
I
that already
understand,
a plan?
but it looks like this dedication of all these 4 bullets.
Yeah.
Seem to me as though we are directing them, that their part of it would be this, with the dedication of the land being number 4.
Oh, yeah, Ben.
And then it would be on us to make sure we develop that land when possible.
Can a developer? Develop the
I guess I'm
So
trying to get
I can add to this, so
Yeah.
I think with some of the, like, the preliminary, these are the preliminary discussions, right, with legal counsel, so you go discuss these things with legal counsel, ask all the questions I think that the board's asking right now of legal counsel. And yes, to answer the question, the developer may be required to include some of the sidewalks, some of the pavement, but I mean, these are, it sounds like very preliminary discussions that are being had, you know, and I don't think this letter that's gonna go to the supervisors is gonna be something at this point that's binding to the district, right? At least in terms of, you know, this being gifted to the district, it sounds like. So if it's land that's gifted,
Right.
then it has to go through the process like, you know, trustee Martinez is saying is that, you know, it'll go through a rigorous process and then the school district will be responsible for developing certain aspects of this area. But I think the developer, in my experience, I found that the developer will be responsible for doing certain aspects of this development, whether it be expanding that parking lot or certain areas of it on the HDLA side or the Margaret May side. So, I mean, I think it's just a matter of talking with legal counsel, getting an architect firm involved as well, you know, and having discussions with them because they would kind of lead us in the right direction, saying, hey, in their experience, this is what we've seen, you know. But they're all great questions. I think this is the very beginning of the process here, you know, am I correct in saying that or, yeah?
So they're just asking us for support.
Yeah.
Yes, that's just what they're not asking for a commitment or any, they're asking us for their support.
Yeah, it's a letter of support for the development, but specifically to acknowledge that we plan to engage in talks for the donation of the land.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, I live there. I
Yeah.
walk by there all the time
But
and.
when we talked about it in the intergovernmental council, the land, there was supposed to be land that was gonna go all the way up to HDLA from Santa Ana. The way this reads, it's just Mains. There's no land being donated by HDLA,
On the HDLA side,
right? It's just Mains.
That's what the report says.
Yeah, that's what number 4 says.
the first paragraph says the tentative map next to Margaret Mays Middle School and the Hollister Dual Language Academy.
Yeah, and then the last paragraph says drop off location for Mays Middle School.
So what I was gonna say was that, that I think that it's a good thing. I think that the developers could have not even engaged in conversation with us and just taken the whole land and done
Housing.
housing the way. So props to that developer for being willing to engage in this conversation. Because we really do need this, I forgot what the terminology was, like this parking way for these two schools. I mean, that would be so awesome. And to get these sidewalks done, whoever's doing them.
Okay.
So I think that it's something positive, and I will say publicly too, that I am not about all this development, being someone who's lived here all these years, but let's be smart.
Great.
And if this person's willing to work with us and it benefits our students and community, then
But I think it sets a good example in having conversations with other developers
right.
coming into our community and even with our city council and our board of supervisors, understanding the importance, not just for Hollister School District, but for San Benito High School, especially pending, the need of a second high school in this community. So I think it's very, very important as a community that we all understand and engage these developers if they want to come into this community, that they support our school districts, that, they're going to be building homes and having families come in, it benefits them as well.
Can I give the board a real-time example? So a perfect example is the development for Rancho Santana School, right? We partnership with the developer up there to, for instance, finish Santana Ranch Drive, right? So they paved all of that. That was on their dime. That was part of their development, which benefits us as a district with the school for access and everything in there. So we didn't have to pay a dime for any of that pavement or anything on Santana Ranch Drive extension all the way through there, right in front of the school,
Right.
right? So I mean, it would be kind of a similar situation, I would assume, with whoever the developer is that's coming in for this
Yeah.
subdivision, right? So I mean, but those are discussions we would have, as the process,
Right.
continues. Right? So awesome.
Do you need an approval on this letter?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the first paragraph does not match the second paragraph.
Let's see.
Who drafted this?
I believe the template from the developer, or it was a template that was already in district files.
What are you saying doesn't match, Jennifer?
The first paragraph it says about, the first sentence, this is a request of the Hollister Planning Commission, support and approval of the Rosati property tentative map next to Mays Middle School and the Hollister Dual Language Academy. And then in the last paragraph, it says that, it's dedicated to the school district for the likely expansion of our parking lot, student drop-off location for Mays Middle School. There's nothing about HDLA.
So can I make a clarifying point?
Yeah, I don't remember any conversation, at least.
I do. With Victor, I was very clear about it because we talked about the backup on Highway 25.
In terms of dedication of land to the district on the HCLA side?
It's the whole.
That was the whole part of it. And the reason that this was such a big deal is when we talked about it in the intergovernmental council, it was all about the backup on Highway 25. And it was causing so much traffic issues.
Is that number one? It talks about Memorial Drive extension.
No, I'm sorry. It's here. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm understanding what you're saying, but I'm wondering if the thoroughfare that we're talking about from Mays to HDLA is part of number one, Memorial Drive extension. So Memorial Drive is on the Mays side, and if we're extending it all the way to
Santa Ana.
Santa Ana, There's
That's
a thorough
HDLA.
report.
The request is expanding mazes, right, parking lot.
That's my
We're not saying HDLA needs an expansion because their parking lot is already there. We're not expanding
No,
their
but that's not,
parking.
if we
The
were,
road is gonna go through, but part
It's-
of this cutout would be,
it's for drop off and pick up.
but you're gonna have the whole road there, Jan, is what I'm saying. So are you gonna want them to take that piece of land on our end to give that little bit of
Supposed to
an
be a whole-
access
yeah.
so that cars can park? So, and see, again, that's a whole study that needs to be done, and architects need to come out so that, well, depending on what it is you're requiring or requesting.
That's what
So
was
if you want it
discussed.
as a pickup, but you want to also expand parking for maze, that's what's clear, because it states that on the very top sentence, says the Hollister, the 3-year conversation, right? Dedicating land to the Hollister for potential expansion of a parking lot for maze, and that's exactly what said in number 4.
Mhm.
So they do agree.
Well, at the meetings that we did, it was all about this, to alleviate the congestion on 25. And that they could go in, and this whole idea that the parents could go in and go around out like so. And it had nothing to do about cutting through a residential area, which is what you're saying, is that we would use Memorial as a cut through.
So if we have HDLA here and maze down here, the road is gonna come here, right? And it's gonna meet up with what you have going on over here with Meridian.
You have a sidewalk here.
Yeah, and you'll have a sidewalk here, right, as you would over here. So what I'm saying is that you wanna put some extra parking, because I don't think the buildings come all the way out here. So you wanted like, I think, extra parking on this side here.
Sleep, it was never discussed extra parking.
But
No,
that's what it's saying,
No,
with possible expansion of parking, because we
I
definitely
understand
need
that, that
parking.
wasn't the initial agreement.
So it wasn't for any parking?
It was, because this is gonna be houses. Okay, and so here is Memorial.
Well, we did have a tentative map. I know when you and Diego had first proposed it, showed us a picture of the property and where the road would go and
it was
kind of.
never parking. It was the whole sidewalk, that would be the parking on the road. Not that you would make a parking lot.
See, and that's my understanding.
So that it's like, what do they call it, airplane waiting or?
Yeah.
That's what the idea
Okay,
was.
so what
Yeah.
they're
So this is
suggesting
their road.
is that they want people to cut through this residential area now. Whereas what we had planned, here's HDLA and May. This, okay, and you're going through here and you're not going through the residential area.
Right.
That's what initially was proposed.
Right.
So the map has one parking lot by maze on this side. This looks like it's going to be the thoroughfare with a roundabout out to Santa Ana. There's not any other indication that this whole thing would
Where
be
is
doing.
HDLA?
HDLA would be
Up there.
this way
Over there.
towards, because this is Santana.
Yeah.
Are those houses there?
So every square is a
Yeah,
house.
there's 144 homes.
So I'm totally not understanding.
Very.
So houses will be hugging the schools, not the sidewalk?
Or
Because
the-
that's not what we, when.
So
Diego and I
then you're
first
having
talked to
houses
them,
here and the
That was-
road is gonna be.
This is very,
Yeah.
it is very, what did they call it? They called it a close knit.
There's high density.
High
housing.
density
Yeah.
housing.
Smaller homes.
Cause what we
There's
initially,
144 homes.
the thought was where Maze and HDLA are, the field,
Yeah.
make a sidewalk
See, that's what.
so that all the cars park along that road. No housing is there. The housing is all on that side.
Yeah,
So that it's, there's no,
That's not what Jan's saying.
that's not what Jan's saying.
No, they're gonna put houses here and then put
No,
this little
that's
road in
not-
between, you know.
This is an old map.
That was
But
not.
that
the
disagreement,
agreement.
yeah, that doesn't make sense. This would be a lot cleaner and now you have your.
Because now you're cutting into residential again.
Yeah.
Why do that?
Yeah, and impacting all of those
Right.
folks. And
And
now you don't have anywhere to pick up your
And the
children.
whole point of the sidewalk by the schools is so that kids could wait on the sidewalk, don't have to cross a street.
Right,
And all the parents would just flow, drive in, pick up their kids.
yeah.
That was the idea.
Right. And this map is also a fire hazard for these people.
See, and that doesn't make sense.
And I brought
To
it up.
do that.
I brought.
It makes more sense to do it like this and just keep the road between the residential and the schools.
Well, that's,
You see?
I think we can still show our support for the gift.
Yes.
I mean, to get back to the letter, I think we can still show support for the development. And then get into the nitty
Those
gritty
are all
of
the
it after it
cul-de-sacs.
moves forward.
I live there. I'm not, I can't in good conscience say, oh yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna.
that development's gonna happen regardless. What we're talking about is, are they gonna gift us some land? We don't have a
But
choice
we
with
couldn't,
that.
couldn't even benefit from that piece. And what is being donated to us there?
Nothing. There's no donation.
There's no donation that I can see from that picture that the school could benefit from
There's
to
no
say
donation.
that we own,
They
this
just
is.
paved the road that went all the way through to the two schools. That's not a land donation. And I think what they would like is support for this. And it would be nice to support and get into a partnership, but not like that. All right.
Yeah, this made sense, but having houses in between and not really having parents and an avenue for safe pickup if you're parking in a front of a house or, you know, it's
That's a
no
mess.
different than on the other side of the residential homes
I
that
have to
are
agree.
before the
See, I
school.
thought it was all the way a straight shot.
Would it be possible for the school to have one of the representatives call in right now to answer some questions?
Please.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Just
This is our last
couple minutes.
item, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the last item.
I'd be
Ready?
waiting
Take a break.
clarify.
Yeah, we wanna take a break?
A cupcake break? I don't know.
I don't know, just had to throw it out there.
In case anyone has cupcakes or.
I don't know, anybody has any out there?
I got a great. I got a great one. I know.
I used to, in some.
I voy contigo. So you don't have to feel like.
Yeah, thank you.
Firehouse.
Brandon, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. If you can put us on pause.
Okay.
Victor, can you hear us?
Yes, yeah, good evening, everybody.
Hi, Victor.
Hi there. Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to call in and chat with you folks a bit. I've been following your meeting on YouTube and I appreciate the transparency and again, the opportunity to speak to you. So just for a little bit of background, we were approached about 3 years ago by the school district to dedicate a portion of land that you see as parcel C on the map there, right at the intersection of Memorial and Meridian. We worked with Diego at that time, and I know Carla was involved as well, to design this parking lot. So through the process of designing this neighborhood and meeting with the city and their development review committee, which includes fire, police, engineering, and others, the school district at that time looked at the land, looked at the design of parcel C, the parking lot expansion, and said, Victor, we like this. Let's go ahead and move forward with this. And so we go ahead and, we move forward through the development review committee of the city of Palm Beach Planning Department. And everybody reviewed the plans. We've made some changes to them. And this is the final map that is going. Now, I reconnected with Kip through the process. And first of all, thank you, Kip, for your advocacy and all the work that you did here. Originally, we had just intended to dedicate the land. But, I know Kip was very, really wanted to see the improvements done on this property as well. So I do want to make it clear to the board of trustees that we're not only dedicating parcel C to expand the parking lot for the school district, we are improving it. So we are paying for everything. We are paying for the parking lot construction. We essentially will just hand you a piece of paper to your legal team that says, here you go. You approve the parking lot. The land is yours. Parking lot is yours. Thank you very much. Have a good day. That's how simple it's going to be. Now, when it comes to the safety elements, I want to make one thing clear, and I do apologize to Trustee Briss if there was some kind of miscommunication. There was not land dedicated on the other side near HDLA. In the letter, we had indicated HDLA and Mays as a combination of schools. Maybe that could have been dropped a little bit differently, but we just wanted you to know that our property bordered both schools. So again, apologize for any miscommunication there. But we are constructing all those improvements. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. We are building the sidewalk all along the south end of our property line, the south side of Santa Ana, that will connect HDLA to the Brigantino property. We are also building sidewalks and bike lanes in front of the Brigantino Ranch to connect to the neighboring neighborhood at Lucero Drive. So we will be constructing all of it. We will be paying for the roundabout. We will be paying for all of the on-site improvements and some off-site improvements as well. Now, the reason that we did a traffic analysis, by the way, I just want to share that with you. And that traffic analysis actually indicated that the build out of Memorial Drive will alleviate the congestion in the mornings and afternoons at Santa Ana and Highway 25. Why? Because they will be using Memorial Drive to get to the south side, of the property from the north side. Instead of going back to the bypass and going north on the bypass, they will take Memorial. So you may ask, and I've heard some, bring this up, well, they're just going to be cutting through another neighborhood. Well, that's not the case. Memorial Drive is actually a collector. It's a main thoroughfare in the city. So none of these houses, unlike the other portions of the neighborhood where people are coming through, Memorial Drive will have no houses facing Memorial Drive. These will all be backyards. So you will, any traffic traveling on Memorial Drive, unlike the old Memorial Drive that actually has houses facing Memorial Drive. The engineers and city staff said, Victor, we don't want that. We want the houses facing the cul-de-sacs for safety of the residents of this neighborhood. And we agreed. We said, that makes total sense. And so there are no houses fronting it. So this will be a very clean way to get to the south side of the area. So I think I've answered a few of those questions. One last one I will share, because I did hear this comment, is shouldn't the road be between the school district property and our property? Unfortunately, well, a couple of things. The police didn't like that. Police did not like the access there. And additional Additionally to that, it did not make sense for the streets to connect, so the streets wouldn't have connected, and they would have actually created a bigger intersection hazard at Memorial and Meridian. That's why they stayed with the Memorial Road alignment that you went through, and they asked for homes to back up into the school. So this design, again, we put the design together, but it hasn't been just us as developers. I do want to make it clear that this development design has been supported by the city staff, city engineering, city planning, fire, and police. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. Again, we're building a park on parcel A. That will be another enhancement. We are building bike lanes and safer routes to school. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Victor. That clarifies. And we didn't have, I don't think we didn't get the map. So Erica was showing us what she has. So it's kind of hard to follow, but so thank you for clarifying that no houses would be facing the street that you're talking about that cuts through Memorial to Santa Ana.
Without facing the school.
Right,
Yeah,
and it
that's
would be
correct.
facing the
And it-
school, or would it be two houses facing each other? How does that? How's
They
that?
would be, you're right, they would be facing each other. So right now, the traffic analysis that we conducted actually shows that if people are not going back to the bypass because they don't have Memorial Drive, since they don't have Memorial, a lot of them are going to the bypass, but not all of them. Actually, a lot of them are cutting through Lucero in the New Bernardino neighborhood, and they're also cutting through, I think it's Santo Ves on the west side of the school. And so, and all those people that are cutting through those neighborhoods actually have houses facing the streets, and that makes it very unsafe, right? So that's why we think Memorial will be a much safer connector for parents traveling in that area.
And as far as the parking, by Maze that you all will be developing, how many parking stalls do you see that will be built?
You know, the design could change. It really is going to be up to the school district. We've already designed, had our engineer actually take a look at it and say, hey, this works. And currently I want to say it holds roughly about 17, 18 additional parking spaces. But the reason we left it sort of up to the school district is because in the middle of at least conversations I've had with prior administration, they said, well, maybe it won't be a parking lot, maybe it will be a plain surface, but maybe we could use it for just parent and pick up drop off. So instead of putting parking stalls there, you could use it as a queuing area. But again, that's going to be left to you folks to eventually decide, or your administration. But we're more than happy to not only design it for you, but fully construct the lot and any design you want there.
Okay, and then for me personally, the conversations we had and, years ago was this idea of hugging the fence of Maze and HDLA. And so I thank you for clarifying. You said the police didn't like that because they thought it would create more of a traffic or dangerous. What was their rationale?
Yeah. Well, that was one portion of it, but the other one was also access to the school and potentially, I hate to put it this way, but potentially predators being on public right. Right, if you have a street completely on that side, anybody could use that street. But if you have backyard backing into the school, then you have that privacy, right? And so that was really at least the reasoning from police. Engineering just didn't like it because it didn't align with their master plan or their general plan, right? Their general plan says for Memorial to punch through our development in the current alignment that you see in the map.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. That's helpful. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Other questions from anybody? No. You good?
And look, if I could just share, look, we really, I'll say this, look, I understand Victor Gomez can't see the face of development in the city hall of San Benito County. I have a number of projects, subdivision projects in the city. I will say this is an amazing partnership. And we're really, really glad that the school district has worked with us on this. We're not expecting the school district to be, okay, yes, we want more houses. No, we're partnership and again, friendship moving forward, because I'm a product of the school district, right? I went to Cal Earth, I went to Rancho, I'm born and raised in Hollister, and I think there's more partnerships like this are needed in our community, so I appreciate your leadership on that.
For sure, Victor. Thank you for saying that. I do have another question on, now that I can see the map. So as you go through Meridian to Santa Ana to the HDLA campus, there is traffic that could be created if they're going in, turning left. Is there gonna be some kind of mitigation for that, or or have they thought about that, or is that? Because that happens now, like if you're coming in from Fairview and you're turning in, and it usually that creates like a little line, so that's why normally people go around from 25, because then it's an easier right turn. And we are, when you exit HDLA, there's a sign that says you're not allowed to make a left. So everyone's gonna be making a right, which that would help, because then you go down. But so just something to think about,
Yeah, if you actually look at the very, very tip, the northwest corner of the project, which is right at HDLA and the sidewalk, just west of the roundabout. It's hard to see on this map here, but we're actually doing pedestrian safety improvements right near that intersection where you have that existing parking lot right at the parcel line. Okay. So that traffic will actually be protected. It'll be an elevated island there that will help guide traffic to the roundabout. And that will make it easier. And if they want to do a U-turn, they will still have that opportunity if they would like. On school hours, they can still go to the roundabout and just make a U-turn, right? But so, and that makes it, and honestly, Trustee Torres, that just makes it very much way safer.
Yeah.
Than the current situation now. So our design here, right at the parking lot, sort of funnels that traffic in a much safer way.
I see. Thank you for explaining. I'm not a fan of the roundabouts, but in that scenario, I like it. Because then you can turn back. And another consideration, since we have you on the phone, we have a lot of kids that walk from where the roundabout is, so a little bit to the south from that. And I'm assuming once you have this development, you'll have more kids. How do kids crosswalk the roundabout? And how do they cross over from the other side? There's also houses there where the fields are. How do they cross over from there and cross the roundabout?
Yeah, so you're actually going to have what we call display sidewalks. So if crosswalks, and these will be school type crosswalks, right? But the good thing is that the kids crossing these intersections will no longer be crossing a full length road, right? A 60-foot or 84-foot right-of-way road. They're going to have a center island, right, which we call pedestrian safety island, right? So they'll cross. If you see there on the map is sort of facing west. But if you look just south of the roundabout, you'll see that pedestrian island, and in the middle of that island, you'll see those markings. That is the crosswalk for east-west pedestrian traffic. And then you're also going to have two others, one on the west side, one on the east side of the roundabout, that again are protected pedestrian islands that allow for the crossing of students in case they need to cross that north side. There isn't a ton of homes, but you are correct, Trustee. There are a few of them, and this will now finally allow them to have a much safer way of crossing. And more importantly, too, I do want to say, since we're on this unpopular roundabout, which I would tend to agree with you, Carl. But the good thing, though, I will say, is traffic coming in. I stood in front of John Bernardino's home there at Santa Ana Road, and man, I didn't even want to park my car there because I thought I was going to get hit. So this roundabout, our traffic study has indicated that this roundabout will slow down traffic coming from Fairview, approaching the school tremendously. I mean, you're talking like a 20-mile-per-hour drop, and that's critical, I think.
Absolutely. Being somebody that lives there, definitely. Thank you, Victor, so much. Anybody else?
question?
No, I'm really glad that you called in, Victor, that we were able to get a hold of you. Thank you, Mr. Ward, for making that happen.
No, yeah. No, thank you, trustee Chris, really appreciate it. And again, thanks to Erica and Kim, they've been 100% transparent and very helpful. And I will also quite demanding, but hey, we understand they represent the school district and we're willing to comply and work with you. So thank you for the opportunity.
And this is Elizabeth Martinez, Victor, and for me, I sat on the board the longest, and I think for me, when I first got on the board and having that superintendent that was there at the time, after speaking to some developers that were coming in, asking them the questions directly, it's like, well, you know, and the honest answer was nobody ever asked us. And see, and that's what, that is what concerns me as a community as a whole, that we're not having, I understand your interests maybe, but you have to consider the impact that it makes, especially on our school districts. Because we have to be able to provide an education for these kids. And if we don't have the space to do so, because our community is bombed out. I think they're pretty much tapped out on that. They've pretty well expressed that, you know, what's on their property taxes now. And so we have to really think about moving forward as a community and really having these joint conversations, because as you know, we need another high school. But what does that look like? You know, what do these conversations mean? And again, you know, as we keep, you know, putting more and more of these homes out there in these developments, it's going to impact all of our sites. So again, I just highly suggest that, you know, we could be a part of the beginning conversations with your developers to really do the ask, you know, and if we have to do the ask, I don't think anybody here would be, you know, not, you know, willing to sit at the table and really look to see what they're able to do for us, because I think it's a selling point for any developer to have a school within walking distance of where they live, you know, and that access, just like parks and other amenities that, you know, a community can have. And so I think it's important, just like any other community resources, that we collaborate together for the benefit of everyone.
And I do have one more, sorry, Victor, because Liz said, if we don't ask, then shame on us. So since we can't go with the idea of that long stretch hugging the schools, and because there's one proposed parking lot over here by Mays, is there a possibility, right, this is an ask, to add an additional over by HDLA, because that parking lot gets overflown too, over maybe like a little piece right there on the corner of Santa Ana, hugging HDLA, similar parking lot, if not at least half of what you have offered on Mays side, just as an ask, as a.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Carla. No, thank you for asking. You know, I think that's probably a more appropriate question for our developer partner on this project.
Yeah.
I will be having a conversation with them later today and tomorrow, but I do want to let you know also that we would, you know, obviously we can have that conversation with engineering as well, because engineering is, they've been very critical of our project. They seem to be getting more critical on all the projects I'm working on in Hollister right now, and that's not bad. But sometimes it is. So I'll continue that conversation with them, Carla, and I'll be happy to get back to you tomorrow with some answer.
Thank you.
And then, absolutely. And Trustee Martinez, I hope that, and first of all, thank you for your comment. Thank you for your service. I'm grateful for your leadership in the community. I again, as I mentioned before, I'm born and raised in Hollister, so when I look at impacts of development, I look at it not only from a developer's eyes, but my own eyes as a member of the community, as a father of three daughters. You know, I look at things from a different perspective. My developer buddies don't always like that, but you know, that's why I'm here, right? To give them the local perspective and to show them the concerns of the community. So in moving forward, Trustee Martinez, I really hope this isn't our last conversation. Let's continue to talk, and as opportunities arise in the future, I'd be more than happy to have those conversations and Benito High School have done to their impact fees are some things that are dropping the budget.
Right.
Look, I represent developers, but I'm not gonna kid myself, it's not enough.
No,
Right.
it isn't.
And so, yeah, so we need to continue to have those conversations on land dedication, as you folks partnered with others in the past. And, maybe a joint meeting with your superintendent. I actually met with our county superintendent of schools, and she brought in a couple of superintendents to talk to me specifically about projects that I'm working on for this exact reason. So I wouldn't mind even doing that without violating the Brown Act, obviously, with a few of your trustees, of your school district, and others, to carry that conversation forward again, Trustee Martinez, because I think it's a very important conversation to have.
I would love to, possibly instill something like that moving forward. Just because we haven't done it, doesn't mean we can't. And I think it would benefit the community tremendously to do those partnerships with because you have city in them, that they sit within your own, wheelhouse of your school, your city, right? Resources, but the school districts are independent. And, on their own. So, and with limited resources and with resources always changing for school districts, our priority is to, provide the best education to our children. So, again, with those limited resources, and then when we have to purchase land because we need, another school, it really doesn't serve our community to have them flip the bill. It makes more sense to have as many developers are coming into this community. It makes sense to have those conversations there. And I just hope that we are able to be a part of those collaborative conversations when those new developers are trying to come on board.
Yeah, great. I look forward to that. That'll be, I'm sure we'll have some great conversations. I want to sit with you specifically, Trustee, and others that are willing to as well, to talk about the projects that I have up my sleeve here in Hollister. It's not just residential entitlements. I do a lot of commercial and industrial work here in the city as well. And they're also, and a lot of times probably have more resources.
True.
And willing to do some of the land dedication. So agreed, and I look forward to having that conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you all for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bye. Okay. So we need to make a decision on this. This will be on the acceptance of the approval of the Hollister School District engaging in the transaction necessary for the possible acceptance of the land donation. The motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve do I have to say the whole thing here? The transaction necessary for possible acceptance of land donation?
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I think my mind, he did a good job in changing my mind. I think all of you know that, I change my mind easily when it makes sense, yeah. And I understand the law enforcement part. I still wish though it would have worked, because I had the envision of,
So did I.
but having that roundabout maybe will help with the left turn business. We'll see, jury's out.
And the crosswalk.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. But at least the traffic will be slowed down.
Yeah, that's major.
Major is right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. All right, we are now going to reconvene to close closed session.
Can I make a recommendation?
Yes.
Only because many times we don't go through the ending piece because
You're right.
most of our, our IT are gone, but, it may be late. Because we don't have a set time to come back, but if we could maybe finish our announcements or future agenda items, and then we adjourn, and that way all we have to do, pardon me, then we go into closed session, so that way when we come back, we just adjourn.
Okay,
Good idea.
unless we have something we have to report.
Right.
Oh, yes, but at least you've taken care of the housekeeping business. That's what you have to-
Right. Okay, so, do I have, does anybody, Kathy, do you have anything to report to the board? No. Carla?
I do want to say something.
Okay.
If I can, in this board member report, I just want to say that, acknowledge, again, that we have social, emotional, mental health, social workers, counselors and everything, and how important that is. And just being a role model and saying that counseling is important for everyone, and I think it was said in public comment as well. And just acknowledging that, like, as somebody in the community, I also, had moments, where things are overwhelming, especially as a elected official, right? And so I sympathize with anyone who does this job. Any school board member, any city council, board of soups. These times have been difficult. These decisions are difficult. We don't take them lightly. And I know my colleagues here, we are very thoughtful about everything that we decide and everything that we talk about. But sometimes it's really hard. And so I've had those moments where I'm like, can't do it, don't want to do it. Don't talk to me about any political, anything. And I want to say that out loud publicly because I think it's important to be honest that we all need to take care of ourselves, as far as our mental health. And so I'm grateful to have colleagues like you who are sympathetic in that you need a timeout. Totally understand. And so, I really think it was important to say that because it's not just the students who have been dealing with everything, it's also our staff. Thank you. It's our staff, it's our administration, and board members too. We have feelings and we can only take so much. So I think it was important to say that and to be a role model that, it's okay to take care of ourselves and take a time out. And then we rise again and do this, right? It doesn't make us weak. It makes us stronger to take care of ourselves and each other. So I wanted to say, thank you for saying
I don't have anything to report other than, supporting Carla in that sense of, working also in a school district. And the challenges that I think all of us have seen this last year and a half, and you take it a day at a time. I think that's what we were learning today is everything is always changing. And I think giving ourselves that time to love ourselves and give yourself some grace and offer that to others. In some cases, it's taught us that. And in some cases, I think we've seen the opposite of that. And I think as Carla said, as public officials, there's times that you are targeted for certain things that you say or you stand for. But in that sense is our obligation is to always put students first and care for them as if they were our own children. And I don't think anybody here would ever make a decision that would put them in harm's way. But we think of every single child. And as a parent, you think about your own children. You would do, I think as mothers, you know, you become a mama bear and you're gonna take care of your children no matter what, right? So we understand that perspective because as mothers, we know that. But every single child in this district has to represent being our own child. And that is a huge responsibility. And we make decisions based on that. So I just, again, want to thank everyone that supports us and even those that don't, because again, we have to give that grace and be that role model for each other and for our children, most importantly, because they're the ones that are going to be sitting in these seats in the future. And it's just, you always try to make every day count and do something positive in that day. And so that's what we try to do, and we try to support each other and lift each other up every single day. And I want to just thank all of those that are watching tonight. And that's what we're here. That's what every single board member is here to do. I know that from the bottom of my heart, and our administration as well. And so we're a team, and we do our best every day for our HSD, our community, and you know, our society as a whole.
Drop the mic. I have no follow-up to that at all. I think you are very eloquent, the two of you, and I support everything that.
For my board member report, I've gone to a couple of Zoom meetings that have been extremely interesting on SEL, on social emotional learning. And today it was on Footsteps Pavilions, led by our county superintendent with superintendents from other counties. And one of the things that I think about is how easy, and I don't mean to be facetious, but how easy this most difficult job has been because of the people that I have interacted with. So is this one of the most stressful things I've ever done? Yes. Does it sometimes keep me up at night? Yes. Do sometimes I question myself? Absolutely, yes. But I have made decisions with people that I respect, I trust, and I don't feel alone. And so when you're in a situation like we're in, that none of us thought we would ever be in, and I'm speaking of the pandemic, my historical hat comes on, and we're living history. We're breaking new boundaries. You know, and we're doing the best we can. And we all, and Elizabeth, you said it very well, we all have to give ourselves grace. Absolutely. Okay. Future agenda items.
the ones that we had brought up before.
Right.
I don't know if we like
Covered
are
them.
keeping track of those, because I know,
I have a list on my whiteboard.
okay.
For the training. Yeah,
The governance calendar.
yes,
The governance, and then
All
the
right,
move of AAA,
all right.
maybe.
Last month, I think, there were requests just to go back into the minutes and kind of look at what was requested on the minutes and add those if necessary.
Right.
I think that we also really, especially with what's happened, is we need to do some parent training on our new discipline policies so that parents have a better understanding.
Yeah, maybe even some workshops, YouTube, something.
Yeah.
So that people understand,
Town hall, whatever.
right, and I would even
Well,
say.
similar to what Gwen did,
Right.
but
Yes,
that's
I
what
like
popped
what-
into my head
Yes.
immediately for
agreed,
the MTSS and the PBIS
Right.
in that sense of
agreed.
restorative justice and creating something like that.
And then maybe also can we follow up with our school food pipeline task force?
Yes, down the task.
While we're at it.
I think those really need to be done sooner than later. Announcement or reminders, anybody? Okay. Then it says adjournment.
Yay.
Well, we're adjourning to closed session.
And everybody,
So-
yay.
Yay, so it's 9:28 to closed session.
Good night, everybody.